guys, welcome back to Global Freakin Pandemic Yoga. This is episode 31, if you can believe it. 31 episodes of virtual yoga in my living room. And as far as I know, we're going to keep doing them through July. So that's 6 more, including today. Let's see. I know exactly what I want to do today. It might be a little bit shorter than usual, but we're going to get right into it. So if you have a strap, grab your strap. If you don't have a strap, grab a scarf, grab a belt, grab a piece of ribbon that's pretty long, like as tall as you are. And if you don't have any of those things, then I'll give you an option. But if you do have something, grab it, put it next to you, lie on your back on your mat, and I'll see you in like 30 seconds, okay? I just want to give you time to get what you need to get. So, episode 31 seems crazy to me. Crazy. It's nice that so many of you are still doing these classes though, and that when I see you, you tell me you're doing them, which obviously makes me happy that you're getting something out of them and that you're enjoying them, because, you know, this isn't how I'm used to teaching, and to me it feels kind of goofy to teach this way, and like I'm pretty sure I come across as a real fruitcake. But every once in a while I see one of you on the street and you tell me that you love the classes and that you're doing all of them, and I love that. Or I get an email from someone, like I got this week from a woman named Joan. I don't know if you're watching this, Joan, but Joan was doing live classes with me, and then the pandemic hit, and she's been doing these, and it sounds like she's enjoying them. So Joan mentioned that she had a tight hip. I am having a little bit of a sciatic tight hip flare up, I guess, in my right hip right now. And in general, I know that most of us have tight hips. So today we're going to focus on the hips. We're going to do my favorite opener with the strap. A lot of you, if not all of you, have done it with me before. But it's just effective, simple, takes up a little bit of time because you have to hold certain elements of the pose for a little bit, but it always feels good when you're done. So that's what we're going to do today. We're just going to do a couple things seated, shoulder opener with the strap, then go down into our hip opener, and then from there it'll probably be time to go into a little bit of a shavasana. So let's see, any housekeeping news? If you're still interested in doing live classes with me through Cedar Grove Park and Rec, it's not too late to sign up for those. You have to register online, and you can access the forms on the Cedar Grove Parks and Recreation website, or if you get in touch with me, I can send you the link. But there is a Monday night class from 6 to 7, which last week had a really good amount of people in it, and everyone spaced out, and I think it worked out well. And then starting this Friday, there's a Friday morning class from 9 to 10. The Friday morning group is always smaller than the Wednesday night group. So if you're thinking you want to maybe participate, but you're a little bit wary of a larger group of people, if you can come on Friday morning, that would be the smaller group for sure. And both classes are meeting under the carport at the community center on Fairview, because it's got a really nice limestone-y ground floor for us to work on, and it's in the shade, which I think is going to be most important for the Friday morning class, and lots of parking. So if you're interested, either get in touch with me or get in touch with Parks and Rec, and you can register online. Okay, so let's get started. Lay on your back. Strap is next to you where you can grab it when you need it, right? Yeah, I woke up 2 days ago, and I've had this before, so I know what it is, but it's just the back of my right hip and then down into like the outside back of my thigh a little. I think I was sitting in a beach chair for probably too long at a weird angle, and had like one of the bars on the beach chair kind of cutting across the back of my leg at a weird spot, and just triggered a little bit of a tightness sciatica issue. So when I saw Joan's email last night, and she said she, had a tight hip and was happy to hear that you could get flexibility back if you worked at it, I'm happy to accommodate Joan. Hip openers it is. And yes, of course, for anyone, you can always get flexibility back if you stick with it and you just are gracious with yourself and take it in little baby steps, right? So lie on your back, arms at your side, palms up. Find your breath. I'm just going to move my way through my hip here as I talk to you. Start at the top of your head. Slowly start to work your way down. Take stock, right? Take notice of what's going on with you today, of what you've got to work with. I was thinking about this the other day because I was cleaning out, I feel like I clean out our refrigerator every single day. I organize it, I get everything where I want it, and then my husband comes home and cuts up a watermelon and puts it in 5 different Tupperware containers. Or my son decides to grill himself chicken and make brown rice and put them in giant containers. And it just makes my skin crawl when I open that door and everything's a mess and things aren't in order. So as I was cleaning out the fridge again earlier today, I was thinking about how when I put my classes into Shavasana, or in the beginning of class, and I tell you to lay there and kind of take notice of yourself, it's similar to what I do when I clean out the fridge, because I take stock. I take notice of what we have and what I have to work with and what meals I can make from what we already have, since I hate going to the store now. And, just see what's good and what's not good, and what I need to get rid of, and maybe what I need to replenish and get more of the next time I do go to the store. But that's kind of what you're doing with yourself right now. You're taking notice of how you feel. You're taking notice of where you might want to go deeper into some things and where you might want to pull out of some things. But you're just trying to get a good read on your body and kind of have a conversation with yourself. A yoga teacher friend of mine that I've known for probably 15 years maybe. She owns a lovely studio called South Mountain Yoga in South Orange, New Jersey. She just started a Facebook group called All the Feels, and it's just about feeling more. Like she'll post a video or she'll post a question, and it's probably men and women, but I'm gonna say it's mostly women in this group. But it's just about being brutally honest. It seems to me that that's what it's about. It's about being brutally honest about your feelings about yourself, your feelings about your body, your feelings about life and what you want more of and what you want to feel more of, and what you've become a little bit numb to and why. And it's just a really interesting, thought-provoking group, and it couldn't have come at a better time because lots of time to think right now, right? With quarantine, day 123 today, 123 days. So take stock, lay here on your back, move around a little bit if you need to, but take stock, see what you've got to work with, see what you need a little bit more of maybe, or a little bit less of. And then as we go through our practice, pay attention to those areas today. Hip openers are pretty, I don't know, in my opinion, hip openers pretty much deal with the hips. Like there's lots of poses where maybe you're doing it with the intention of lengthening the hamstring or lengthening the spine. But in the process, you get all these other amazing benefits out of those poses. Hip openers, you get other benefits out of them, but when I do hip openers, I do them with the intention of opening my hip. That's the only thing I'm focusing on. And I'm usually doing it because my hip's uncomfortable, or my hip's super tight, or I slept weird, or I wore the wrong running shoes and I was walking up a bunch of hills this morning. There's usually a reason why I specifically choose to do hip openers. you know, Joan's got a tight hip. We're gonna do hip openers for Joan today. But you'll always get more than just what you're focusing on. But hips to me are really just about hips. So I don't know, if you've got something else going on, then maybe you want to play around a little bit when we're done today for an extra 5 minutes and incorporate some things that maybe I won't incorporate today that you know you need or that you know will feel good. Sometimes, you know, you have to take the class outside of the class a little bit and add in what you need to make it a complete class for you. Pull your knees into your chest. I'm going to do this with you. So I'm going to turn and face my head to you. Arms are out, right? Big T, palms up. Knees are going to come in and we're going to drop all the way over. And I know that I'm super repetitive because we do this pose every week. I love this pose. Always feels good. And I'm probably always going to say the same thing to you. Get the legs down first and then focus on the arm. So if the legs are going to the right, like they are right now, focus on lengthening the left arm and really grounding it down into your floor. And then, as always, find your breath. Try to relax into your breath. Knees up to center. Before we come into a happy baby or anything, we're going to go to the left first. So drop to the left, settle the right arm down on the ground. Find your breath here. Nice big inhales, equally as big exhales, with that little holding place in between. All right, let's swing them up. And again, down to the right, same as before, but noticing the difference this time in that you've already done it once, so you're inherently going to be a little bit warmer and a little bit looser. It might not be a huge amount, but it's going to be a little bit different. It's going to feel a little bit different. Try to pick up on those differences, but at the same time, let yourself soften into the pose even further and just move on the breath. We talked a little bit last time about inhaling and kind of softening into the pose, exhaling and settling into that place that you soften to. All right, bring them up, bring them down to the left. Last time over here. Now, come on up to middle. Let's come into either happy baby or the other version that I always offer you, which is one hand on each knee, just going wide. Okay, so decide what's going to feel best for you. Ooh, leg cramp. And then go, I'm going to do this one because I keep getting a leg cramp right now. And then go big. Find your movement. Maybe make circles on your back. That feels kind of good. And then go in the other direction. Okay, so let's do left ankle over right knee without using your hands. Muscularly, using your muscular energy, push that left knee away from you. So you're creating space deep in that hip crease If you put your fingers there, you can even feel the tightness. You can feel that everything is super tight, and you want to try to crack through that. So muscularly push the knee away and then switch sides. My right hip is my tighter hip, always harder to do this pose. I feel it so much deeper with a lot less movement. Now, come into a half happy baby. So right hand on the right knee, left leg can be knee bent, foot on the floor, and just let that leg go as far out to the side as it's comfortable going. Sort of like you're opening a creaky old door, right? Your hip joint is the hinge, and it's a little bit rusty. It needs a little bit of oil, and that's what we're trying to do today. Knee up to center, same thing on the other side. So bring the left knee in, hold the left knee with the left hand, and just let it open and drop as far as it's comfortable. And then come on up to center. So now we're gonna cross the left ankle over the right knee, and we're gonna make circles with our foot, with our ankle. Maybe getting a crack, maybe not. If you're lucky, you'll get a good crack. Go in the opposite direction. Got out early this morning and was walking before 8. That's early for me. And I like getting my walk over with and done with, switch legs, because then I don't have to figure out when it's going to be the least hot to do it during the rest of the day. Except in quarantine, apparently, that's my favorite thing to do. So when I do it early in the morning, I'm kind of bored all day long. All day long, I kind of think, oh man, I wasted my walk. All right, legs out long in front of you. Let your feet open up towards the sides of the room. Take your hands and bring them to the front of your hips. Okay, in yoga, when we talk about your hips, we don't really mean the width of your hips. We mean the front of your hips, which for most people goes straight down the middle of your thigh. So that's why when we tell you to do hip width apart, it's usually 2 fists. If you were to do the width of your hips, it would be quite different. If you were to do the width of your thigh bones in your hip sockets, for most of us, it's about that, 6 to 8 inches. So take your fingers, bring them to the front of your hips, and just kind of feel around. Feel what you feel, right? Like, are things sitting high? Play with your bones, you know, kind of press a little bit. Just kind of get a feel for the landscape of your pelvic girdle right now. And what we're gonna do is open up our hip with this big, huge hip opener, and then go back and double check. And things should be sitting a little bit lower. They should feel a little bit different than they do now. Okay, so grab your strap. We're gonna start with both feet in the air, both feet in the strap, okay? Legs up, both feet in the air. I like to make my strap equal distance on both sides. And then I like to wrap my strap around my hands. Press up through the 4 corners of your feet. So that's going to be your big toe mound, your pinky toe, your inner heel, and your outer heel. Press up. Now take a look at my feet. See how they're about hip width apart? So they're not the width of my hips. They're the width of my hip sockets and my femur bones. 2 different things, but in yoga, this is what we mean. Pull down, pull down, pull down. Try to line everything up over the hip socket. Take some nice deep breaths. It's easier to keep your legs up here when you have the strap for support. So take a minute here to just breathe deeply. One more, nice big inhale and exhale. So I'm gonna leave the right foot in the strap, left leg is gonna come down to the ground, and it's actually going to go out straight in front of me on the ground, flat. Okay, so I've got the strap around the around the right foot. I'm holding the strap in the right hand. My left arm is out at my side with the palm up so that I'm kind of spreading myself out and I can balance better. I am not necessarily going to just roll to the side. Turn the toes on the right foot out a little, and then just start to lower the leg out to the side. You can't see all that I'm doing. My leg's about a foot off the ground, but I'm not letting the back of my left hip lift up. I'm holding the strap, I'm flexing my right foot, I'm pressing out through the four corners of my foot, and I'm not letting my left hip roll up. If I were to drop my leg, my left hip would roll up. I don't want to do that. I want to stay balanced. So see, my leg is in the same position. It's just out to the side, maybe about a foot off the ground. Now we're going to swing the leg up to center. Take one strap in each hand and pull down. See how much paler my leg is than my arms? How come your legs just don't tan the same as your arms? That's a big question for me this summer. How come? It's the same skin. They just never tan the same. All right, now both straps are going to come into the left hand. Right arm's going to come out to my side, palm up. So what I'm going to do now is roll onto the outside of my left hip, but I don't want my foot to touch the floor. I want it to only stop about a foot off the floor, so it's hip height, okay? So flex the foot of the leg that's on the ground as well, your left foot. Keep the right arm down, roll to the side, and look up. So the strap helps, but muscularly, you're still really just holding the leg up there. Big breath in. Exhale the breath. One more inhale. Lift the leg up to center. Take one strap in each hand and pull down. Press out through the back of the knee here so that you're getting a good hamstring stretch. Don't bend your knee in towards you. You don't want to hyperextend, but you want to go straight through the knee if you can. And then take away your strap. Arms out, palms up, lower the leg nice and slow to the ground. Control, right? Use your core muscles. Focus on your breath. Feel the quad engage at some point. All the way down. All the way down. Oh my goodness. All right, so I wish we could talk, but I swear to you, my right leg is like 3 inches taller than my left leg right now. Longer. That's a just amazing feeling pose. So now bring your fingers to your hips. Feel around. What are you feeling? My right hip over here is definitely sitting lower than my left hip. And it wasn't before, it was equal before. So that means that I took that femur, that big thigh bone, I put it where it belongs, I aligned it properly, and now I've created new space in that hip socket So the synovial fluid, the lubricating fluid that keeps everything moving well, is going to flow freely, and I'm going to feel better. I'm going to feel like I've got more space and things aren't as cramped and tight. So that's amazing, right? Okay, take your strap, left leg up. We need to work the same magic on this poor leg, right, that we did on the other one. So right leg out in front of you, feeling so good. Just pull down right now. Press up through the four corners of your foot. Find your breath. Press into the strap with the bottom of your foot, and then press out through the back of your knee to get some straightening and some hamstring lengthening. Both straps, however you prefer to hold them, are going to come into the left hand. Turn out the toes a little, and then start to open the leg towards the left without letting the back of the right hip lift. You don't want that hip to lift. Big breath in. All right, swing that baby up to center. Take one strap in each hand. Now, get your straps the way you want them to be in your right hand. This time, left arm comes out to your side, palm up. You're going to roll onto the outside of your right hip, but you're going to keep the foot hip height. So you don't want the leg to dip lower than the height of this hip when you're lying on your side. Okay, so start to roll and twist, extending the leg out, keeping the left arm flat on the ground. Finding your breath. Oh my gosh, I have a cramp. I have a cramp. Keep doing it. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't stop. Holy crud. All right, swing it up to center. Oh my gosh, you guys. That was like a Charlie horse. One strap in each hand, pull down. Pull the toes down, lift up high through the heel. Strap comes down, arms come out, leg starts to lower, nice and slow and controlled, using that muscular energy and your core all the way down. And then one more time, fingers come to the hips, and just notice where things are sitting and how they're feeling. Hopefully, both your legs feel equally as long, like you've created the same amount of space on each side. Hopefully things are feeling good. So what we're going to do from here is come over onto hands and knees for a second. And we're just going to cat and cow for a minute, just to release our back in case it was feeling super tight. Sometimes when you lay down and do a pose like that for a few minutes, for some people it's not the most comfortable thing on their back, so we just want to release that. Okay, now we're going to go into a wide knee child's pose. Further lengthening and opening the back of the hip. One more breath. Okay, so you are going to come to a comfortable seated position with your strap. Okay, sit however feels best on your newly minted hips, right? We're just going to open our shoulders really quick for a second. And then, without further ado, we're going to go right into Shavasana so that you can just enjoy the feeling of spaciousness that you've created without screwing it up by doing dogs or anything. Okay, so straps out in front, one side in each hand, pull wide, right? Go wider than your shoulders, and then inhale up, go a little wider, exhale down, up, and over. So you want to try to keep your arms straight as you do this, but if one shoulder is a little tighter or glitchy, as Cam would say, then you may have to bend it and play with it a little. And hopefully after we do a couple reps, it'll loosen up and it'll feel really good. So inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. So I'm not going to keep on talking you through it, but we're going to do like maybe 10 reps of this. So one rep is over and back. Okay? So you can close your eyes. You're seated, so you're safe. Your balance is safe. You can close your eyes if you want to, or you can keep them open. You can do whatever you want, but 10 reps, and then just put your strap down to the side and lie on your back. Okay? All right, so everybody should be lying on their back, right, with their arms at their sides, palms up, finding your breath. So that was a really simple class, kind of short and sweet, but I feel good, and I really hope you do too. Shoulders and hips are just two big areas, and when you find poses that you can do that open them quick, those are kind of the poses you want to hold on to. And what we did with the strap today, those are two good poses to remember. So let your mind wander. Let your breath become a little slower, a little bit deeper, a little more controlled, but at the same time, not really controlled at all, right? Like your yoga breathing hopefully is starting to come a little more naturally to you, even if you just started doing yoga with me 31 classes ago. So go back to the beginning of class. Remember when you were lying still on your mat, And I asked you to just take stock, right? Take note of what you have. See what you have that you can use, and see what you have that you need to get rid of and replenish. Right? Do the same thing right now. Sometimes it's as simple as just needing to still your mind, and doing something that's self-care like yoga does that, because it forces you to pay attention to what's going on in that moment versus what's going on outside you. Maybe you had a super tight hip and this solved a problem for you. Or maybe your sinuses were bothering you, or your shoulder was bothering you. Or, as silly as it sounds, maybe you had a little bit of like stomach irritation, a little gas from something you ate for lunch. And twisting helped to move that along and you feel better. Start to wiggle your fingers and your toes a little bit. Start to bring a little bit more, awakening to your pose. And when you're ready, roll over to your right hand side and press yourself up to a comfortable seated position, or just rock your way up, whatever feels best for you. Hands are going to come to your heart in prayer. We're going to end with the sound of Om today. We've done that a few times, but we're going to do it today. So what we'll do is take a deep breath in, let out a big exhale, take a deep breath in, and then on that second exhale, we'll release it as the sound of Om. So you don't have to do it. You can do it with me. You can just listen, whatever you want, okay? So close your eyes, take a big breath. Exhale the breath. Inhale. Namaste. Thanks, guys. Thank you for joining me once again here in my living room for a little bit of self-care and a little bit of yoga. Always good to have you. I will see you again over this weekend for another virtual class. And remember what I said, if you're interested in live classes, contact Parks and Rec or get in touch with me and I'll try to send you the link, because you can only register online. Okay? But it would be nice to have you and to see you. So take care. Enjoy the rest of the week. I'll see you soon.